So, dear Rusmin, we can start with your welcome speech.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I'm Rusmin Lawin. For the last 5 years, I named myself global entrepreneur because I met a lot of international business. I travel a lot. Last year, I traveled 31 countries in the 181 days. Okay, so that's why I'm honored to be invited by Kate and Nika. I'm happy they can assist you to bring Georgia to the world, Georgia property to the world. Okay, I'm a CEO of Lawin Investment. It's a boutique investment firm, and also I have a company in London, Big Pen Capital, and also I'm ambassador of Asia PropTech, the PropTech community in Asia, based in Hong Kong. And the last one, I'm for the last since 2006, I involved in FIAPSI, International Real Estate Federation, based in Paris, since 1951. It's an international real estate federations comprising of more than 40 property stakeholders, from developers, agents, consulting company, lawyers, bankers, mortgage player, even prop tech. So we have about 70 representative and chapters in the world. So for those who keen to join, because FIAPSI is an international gateway to they can bring Georgia to the world and also bring the world to Georgia as well if you don't have time. Okay, if you don't have time, we will bring Georgia, the world to Georgia. Okay, because definitely I promise you that I will visit Georgia next year, because Georgia is very unique. You can feel like something like you are still really in Europe, but everything is affordable. The housing price is still very ideal to invest, because I can tell you that it's cheaper than Jakarta, my city. Okay, even cheaper than Jakarta. I've done my research, so I think it's a crossroad of between Asia and Europe. It's just next to Asia, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours difference only. If we are talking about the world economy, we are talking about the globalizations. Okay, the globalization is something that you can run, but you cannot hide. Okay, especially in this pandemic. So in this pandemics, people not allowed to travel. They need some, but they do aware that they have to proceed their business activities, co-living with COVID. So it's a good timing for you, Lisa and Kit, and your colleagues. You have the right timing to promote Georgia, especially Asia, because as I said, that Georgia is is a really emerging market in Europe. It's ideal moment to invest in Georgia because of the pricing is good, the political stability is there. Okay, the population is quite significant. It's about 4 million. I think it's more than that today, 4 millions. And also people, I can see that people there are very creative and also very passionate and active. So we are lucky. You are lucky. You have Lika and Kate that keep promoting Georgia property in FIAPSI. So I don't want to say much, because we will have a Q&A later. I would like to pass the floor to Kate. Thank you, Kate and Nika.
Thank you. Dear friends, colleagues, partners, all participants, dear audience, good day to you all. Thank you, Rusmin, our dear friend, for your welcome address. For FIAPSI Georgia, the youngest chapter in the Federation, it's important to have supporters like you are, friends within the chapter who can promote us internationally. So greetings to everyone. As you may know, we are a small country, but with a very big potential, and international awareness is what Georgia real estate really needs now and actually is ready for. Our speakers will tell, show, and present more on this after a very interesting presentation that Mr. Irakli Ilauridze will deliver. He's the Managing Director of Colliers International Georgia. We will have project presentations of flagship projects in Georgia. Actually, it would be better to have you all here in Georgia and show you around like we did this last October. But today, the world has changed. We are living in a new reality, and the way how we saw in the first place putting Georgia on the international map of real estate has changed also. Just to give you a very brief flashback from 2019. This was the year that FIABC Georgia was founded. We had very big plans and actually started with big ambitions. During the very first year, we organized a big international event. And the same year, we hosted 2 world presidents from FIABC, Mr. Rasen Makedonov and Mr. Walid Mousa. Now, if we get back to 2020, what we did was to just adapt. And this is the magic word, as we all agree, to stay in the game. And this for a new reality means to get more digital. So hereby, I'd like to thank our digital partner, Solvit, for helping us to organize this webinar. I will not talk long, so we have very, very interesting presentations. And now I'd like to pass the floor to Lika Kardava, Secretary General of FIABC Georgia and also Managing Partner of Property Georgia.
Thank you a lot, dear Kate. I fully agree that we have pretty much interesting presentations ahead. Thank you, dear Rasmin, for wonderful and inspiring introduction. On behalf of Property Georgia and FIABC Georgia, we are thrilled to welcome keynote speakers and all distinguished international and local participants on today's webinar, hosted by FIABC Georgia, FIABC Asia, and Asia PropTech. Property Georgia is first property hub, maybe many of you knows already, and real estate guide in our country. Property Georgia is an expert platform that gives together all leading participants of the market, also provides unique platform for new developments to showcase what makes these properties attractive for local and international investors. In 2019, Property Georgia has initiated launch of International Real Estate Federation's local chapter, as Kate has already mentioned, FIABC Georgia. And of course, we did this with strong support of 2 world presidents, Mr. Rasen Makedonov. He was really great supporter of launch of FIABC Georgia, as well as Secretary General Narek Arakelian, and also 2nd world president, Mr. Walid Mousa. With his strong support and empowerment, we have organized international large-scale events with the headline Building Sustainable and Resilient Cities. FIABC Georgia chapter already embraces up to 27 members, leading real estate companies, and with their support, we're stronger and we're attracting, of course, new members to create value for the real estate sector. On behalf of FIABC Georgia, I would like to inform you that in 2021, if COVID reality will give us opportunity, we plan to organize first national awards of real estate projects, FIABC Georgia Prix d'Excellence. We'll be having international jury members and very transparent nomination categories and voting process. We encourage all development companies, Georgian development companies, to take part participation. And which is important is that in scope of project awards, we will make huge focus on future-proof and sustainable and resilient projects. It's quite interesting that the significant impact of pandemic on real estate has encouraged many investors and also developers to reimagine what real estate will need to offer in the future. The pandemic has reshaped investor strategies as behavior of homeowners, renters, as population, internal space and access to greenery and countryside are both now high on the agenda. This is the reason why we have invited the presenters like Lisi Development, Schuchman Group, Alliance Group. They will provide very interesting flagship projects with sustainable concept. I'm increasingly optimistic that science will win and the world economy will gradually restart, open, and we will have a unique opportunity to initiate a new stage of growth that is more diversified, resilient, and inclusive. In the reality, in COVID reality, we see that climate change and resilience means is quite topical aspect, and we need to attract investments and focus more on future-proof, resilient project in this reality. Good news is that what we hear from investors, despite the fact that we have quite huge turbulence globally in real estate sector, when world gets back to normal and international flights will resume, they are looking forward to take first flights to Georgia. I'm sure our keynote speakers will prove that Georgia is top emerging real estate destination in long-term perspective. So luckily today, again, I would like to extend my gratitude and thank our impressive speakers, leaders of the companies representing Georgia, Irakli Kilauridze, managing partner of Colliers International Georgia. He has very interesting presentation about country's real estate sector. Representative and management of Alliance Group, Temur Bitsadze. Tina Quintradze, she is representing one of resilient developments of Georgia. Also Nuta Abramishvili, Schuchman Group's CEO and also Vice President of FIAPTI Georgia. She will present her amazing, very conceptual project from Kakheti, she's developing in Kakheti region. So we have had very interesting presentations. I wish fruitful webinar to all participants and thank you again for your interest to participate and attend. We'd love to hear from you in Q&A session. So please send your questions on Q&A session or afterwards on emails. And now let me give floor to Temur Bitsadze. He will be moderating our webinar.
Thank you, Lika, for introducing us. First of all, it is my pleasure to be given a chance to moderate this event. First of all, I want to highlight the fact that in these hard times, in the times of pandemic, all the companies, all the countries are trying their best to receive the new normal and to continue digitalize, first of all, which is the vital for bringing the investment into the country. So these issues will be addressed by the managing partner of Irakli Kilauridze, who will present the country. And afterwards, we'll have three speakers from different companies. The greenest, the most green development in Tbilisi, which is the Lisi Development. Ms. Tina Quintradze, the sales director, will present the project itself. And one of the really interesting projects and very nice winery resort, the very nice concept, which is which is Shukman. It will be presented by Nutsa Abramishvili, and I would like to highlight the fact that Georgia is famous for its winery history, and she's the one to present this nice concept. And finally, it will be finalized the presentation by me, the lead development company Alliance Group, who is in this market since 2005 and developing the country's cities, basically the seaside resorts of Georgia, Batumi. Thank you to be given the chance to present our companies to this event. And now I'm giving the word to Mr. Irakli Kilaridze to present the country and to address the issues we are adapting at these hard times in the moment, and to present the country itself, Georgia, as the very attractive market of the real estate. So please, Mr. Irakli.
Thank you very much, Timur. Thank you to FIAPSI Georgia for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to present Georgia to the world, and of course to discuss very interesting opportunities that these difficult times bring to our country. I will, in my presentation, I will touch base all major sectors that basically play and form Georgian real estate market. And we'll go to mostly to Tbilisi and Batumi, and then of course I'll be more than pleased to go into Q&A and discuss some opportunities that shaping up for Georgia in coming years. Just a few words about our international rankings that makes really Georgia stand in the region. Georgia, we can say that has improved its status as a free economy, thanks to its fiscal policy, regulatory efficiencies, and open market policy. According to the World Bank's Doing Business Report 2020, Georgia ranks 7th for the ease of doing business among 119 countries, and second for ease of starting business, which is also very important, especially for the property business. According to the Global Competitive Index 2019 by World Economic Forum, Georgia has ranked 74th position out of 140 countries. Of course, it's also very important to mention that registering a new business takes maximum of 2 days, which is always good news for the foreign investors, and of course attracting FDI to our country. Foreign investors in Georgia are guaranteed equal rights to those Georgian citizens, which is also very important. After payment of taxes, foreign investors are entitled to repatriate their earnings, which is quite easy and makes Georgia one of the interesting places to attract the foreign direct investments. A few words about residential markets in Tbilisi. I'll start with supply and demand side. Basically, my presentation will present 2019 figures, and of course, we'll talk about what COVID had affected, how COVID had affected the markets and the sectors. In 2019, around 200 residential projects were completed, which is quite impressive number for the size of the country and the size of the market that we have. In contrast with previous year, that number fell by only 4%. And in 2019, around 170 residential projects were started, totaling around almost 1 million square meters of residential space. In 2019, the number of residential transactions in Tbilisi amounted approximately 35,000 units. The bulk share, around 60%, was recorded by the newly built flats, and the rest, of course, for the what we call the old flats or the secondary market. The market share of sales transaction, the total volume of residential amounted $1.6 billion, which is a insignificant decrease from the previous year, 2.7%. Demand and selling prices. The selling price of newly built residential flats in Tbilisi varies It starts from $400 and goes up to $3,000 per square meter. Compared to 2018, in 2019, the average selling price of newly built flats maintained stability, which is, I think, a very important message to the market. The residential market experienced an insignificant increase in the terms of weighted average selling price. And when we talk about weighted average selling price, it's all sectors. It's starting from economy and finishing with high-end premium sectors. And the weighted average price in Tbilisi was $710 per square meter, which was an increase of around 3% from the previous year. The selling price of old projects, I mean, this is a secondary market, increased by 2.2% and amounted around $645 per square meter. COVID effects, of course, we are all interested what kind of effects does the COVID has on the market, and it's very important to analyze the situation in order to make the good and informed decisions going forward. We can say that in general, Tbilisi residential market started recovering in June, and we see that it showed very, very promising effects. So it recovered quite easily and quite fast. So in October in 2020, around 3,200 transactions were registered in Tbilisi. That is only 5% lower than of the previous year. As for the market size, the figure stands at around $140 million, which is reflecting a only 4% decrease compared to the last year, 2019. The number of new apartment transactions in total, if we take the accumulated numbers, it's only 20% decrease from the previous year, which is quite a good number, I would say, taking in consideration that we had quite a strict and long lockdown, which was a technical kind of issue and restricted transactions in Georgia. The weighted average price is also important to mention that from January to October 2020 is around $674 per square meter, reflecting only 5% decrease compared to the 2019 numbers. As for the weighted average price of secondary market is around $637, which is an insignificant decrease of only $2. So in general, we can say that residential market showed quite a good resilience in Tbilisi and recovered quite fast, and gives a promising note for the future investments in this sector. A few words about Batumi residential market. As you know, Batumi is I would say, the second largest residential market in Georgia, and it's important to understand what's going on that market. To highlight some supply and demand, in 2019, around 237,000 residential area was completed and added to the Batumi market supply. And it was around 3,680 flats units. Batumi residential market is expected to enlarge by quite a significant 2 million square meters, which is around 35,000 flats in coming 3 years. In 2019, the number of transactions of residential market increased by 28%, which was quite a significant increase, and actually showed how big was the interest and demand from mostly international buyers on this very interesting market. And number of transactions, of course, due to the COVID, will have just before going to the COVID effects, the selling prices. Very important to note that basically in 2019, Batumi market surpassed the Tbilisi market, which is the capital, and the price of newly built premium market was around almost $1,700, while the medium market was around $1,000 and the economy was around $540. Modest changes were observed in the weighted average sales prices of the secondary market, what we call the older flats, with economy and medium segments decreasing by 3.3%. The average price of the newly built apartments, weighted average price, has grown from $740 per square meter in 2018 to $824 per square meter, which is around 11-12% growth rate, which is also quite a significant change and increase in the price. COVID effects in October, just for you to understand, of course, the Batumi market is very much dependent on the tourism sector because most of the residential sales are attracted by international investors, and it is obvious that the lockdown and the restrictions in the travels had quite a big effect on the Batumi market. But we think that as soon as the borders open and the flights are restored, we think that the Batumi market will show quite a good resilience and will have quite a fast recovery. And just to give you a few numbers, on accumulated basis, new apartment transactions are around 32% lower and compared to 2019, and the secondary market is 23% lower. Tbilisi, a few words about Tbilisi office market, which is a major office market in Georgia. On the supply side, in 2019, the total supply of modern business center amounted around 1,090,000 square meters, which is around 4% increase when compared to the previous year. Overall, Class A business centers account of approximately 11% of total supply. It means that the portion of the Class A is quite small, and there is quite a big room for the development in this sector. I will not go into details, as this presentation can be available, and to go into the detailed number analysis. On the demand side, just a few words on the demand side. The absorption of the Class A space slightly slowed down in contrast to 2018. The net take-up or the net demand and new demand in Class A business centers has increased by quite impressive 47%. And demand for Class B centers has largely increased as well. As a result of the net take-up has tripled when compared to the 2018, which amounted around 6,600 square meters. Overall, the year-end take-up in 2019 amounted to approximately 12,000 square meters. However, compared to 2018, this figure is slightly decreased, which is around 8% decrease from the previous year. The largest share of occupiers are mostly the service company, followed and investment and banking, followed by the construction and development, and pharmaceutical, beauty and healthcare sectors. Rental and vacancy rates. In 2019, the vacancy rate in Class A business sector dropped from 39 to 25, which is also a sign of the big demand and shifting the market from C to B and from B to C sectors. The pricing by classes you can see on the charts on the lower left side. Of course, it is expected that as market develops, the average weighted prices are decreasing, but still compared to some other Eastern European countries, the pricing is still very appealing. For instance, in Class A, we have a weighted average of $22, in Class B around $15, C around $12. COVID effects. In 2020, the weighted average rent fell in unclassified business centers by 4% only. The figure reduced by 2% in Class A business centers, which is, I would say, not a very significant decrease, taking in consideration what kind of effects in general the COVID had on the business center. As for the vacancies in 2020, Class A and Class C modern business centers decreased, mostly during pre-pandemic period. As you know, office market is reacting to the changes not very quickly because most of the rental markets are long-term contracts. Class A remains with the highest vacancy at the moment, which is 21%. In some cases, this is what we call a technical vacancy, because quite a few new projects are coming to the market, and of course it takes for them to fill up the business centers. And in some period of times we have these high vacancies, but it's mostly driven by the technical aspects rather than pure economical and demand side effects. A few words about retail market. Here I will touch base a few words about the modern shopping centers. Since 2015, the floor space of the modern shopping centers increased quite significantly by 28%. In 2016, the third shopping center was opened in Guldani, which is, I would say, one of the largest residential districts in Tbilisi. Over the next 2 years, we expect around 30,000 square meters of floor space to be added to the total supply. The leased area of Tbilisi shopping malls amounted approximately 2,057,000. Fashion category, of course, is the major occupier, which is around 32%, with total area of more than 80,000, followed by the supermarkets around 16%, which is amounts to total of 40,000 square meters. The demand for Tbilisi shopping centers has significantly increased. We can state that in 2019, the net take-up was quite positive. The lease space increased by almost 35,000 square meters, which quite a significant increase for the size of the market that we have in Tbilisi. A few words about some performance indicators. As of 2019, the average weighted price in shopping centers had modestly decreased, only 1.5% according to the previous compared to the previous year, and amounted around $90 per square meter. We also have to say it's important to mention that all the statistical numbers were calculating in US dollars, and these decreases are not very significant, even if you take into consideration how the exchange rate of the local currency is doing. So it also is quite a good showcase of the resilience of the market, and it's quite a healthy demand for the shopping centers. COVID effects, of course, retailers are one of the few sectors that COVID has affected quite significantly. We think that in short term, and also it's evident on the market, the landlords and also the occupiers are showing an understanding approach to the market, and they're trying to adapt to the reality. And we think that going into the future, we will see less and less fixed rents in the contracts, and more rents that are tied to the turnovers, which is we think is quite adequate reaction from the tenants and from the landowners as well to the current situation. Basically, they're trying to share the market risks as they go forward. A few words about the high street. We have 4 major high streets that we are monitoring in Tbilisi. This is Mashenebeli Avenue, Chavchavadze Avenue, Pekini Avenue, and Rustaveli. In the leasable area on Chavchavadze Avenue increased by additional 3,000 square meters in 2019 as a result of one of the big projects being completed. In 2019, the services and the fashion categories held the largest share in the street retail, which is probably is the same situation as we see in other Eastern European markets. Some performance indicators: the overall vacancy rate on Tbilisi High Street increased by 6%. This is mostly due to some of the retailers are shifting more their units to the shopping malls, which of course had an effect on the street retail. Although we think that the pricing on the street retail is still quite attractive. The rents has slightly decreased, but they maintain quite a high rate compared to other Eastern European countries, which is around $30 per square meter per month. COVID effects, of course, COVID effects quite a significant effect on the high street retail. The vacancy rates are increasing. For instance, on our Mashinebeli Avenue, it increased from 10 to 19%, in Pekini from 3 to 9. Same situations we have also on our Mashinebeli Avenue and on Rustaveli Avenue. Tenants operating in shopping centers as well as the streets will gain a stronger negotiation powers. This is our kind of analysis going forward. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we'll see more and more rental contracts that are tied to the sales rather than a fixed rental contracts. This is all that I want to say and the overview of the market. Happy to answer and go into Q&A at the end of our session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irakli, for marvelous presentation. I wanted to sum up what Irakli just presented to us. Basically, as we see from the presentation, the market has been recovered quite fast. But if we look at the figures before 2020, we've had a quite significant increase in not only in the supply, but it was actually balanced by the demand, which drive the prices to still go up in the real estate sector, first of all, as in Tbilisi, the capital, also in the seaside resort of Batumi. The COVID effects was quite normal, considering the current situation in the world. It was around 20 to 25%, which is normal, because it was driven by the government regulations, and they subsidized pretty much of the credits of the hypothec from the banks to the Georgian market developers. But some other companies who were basically concentrating on the international market, they started to look for other potential markets. For instance, it was the Far East Asia, and apart from the post-Soviet Union countries, they concentrated more on Far East to balance the demand and to still increase the sales somehow. So it's quite normal due to the COVID-19 that the situation is still very stable, and Georgia has shown in different sectors as well that it's a resilient market. It was the same in the office market, the same in the shopping malls and leisure centers. It mostly affected the high street shopping and high street real estate, which was actually shown in the presentation. But still, as the vaccine is already invented, the confidence of the investors will still go up, will still increase, and we are looking forward to receive much higher investments going from abroad, as well as the local market will enhance. So thank you, Irakli, one more time for the beautiful presentation. Now we're moving forward with a very nice resort that we have in the Kakheti region. It's called Shukman Resorts and Spa. It will be presented by Ms. Nutsa Abramishvili, the director of the company. So I love this project basically because it's a winery resort, and it's a really nice concept. So we're listening to Ms. Nutsa to present this marvelous resort.
Thank you very much, Timo, for today's very interesting sessions and presentations. I would like to ask my colleagues to start with the video presentation, because I think it's very interesting to see the resorts in Kakheti and our list, let's say, some key features on Kakheti, on this particular region, because Kakheti is one of the most important agricultural region of Georgia. with the 80% of wineries and vineyards. And as Timo mentioned, and as you all know, Georgia is absolutely famous with our authentic culture, with the wine production and viticulture as well. And what is very interesting, that this small country can produce more than 70 million, let's say, bottles per year and export to the entire world and our export markets. One of the cases represents my company, and I would like to introduce myself. I'm Nutsa. I'm from Georgia, and I'm CEO and the co-founder of Schuchman Group. And this is a German-Georgian joint venture since 2009. And we are in the agriculture. As I mentioned already, wine business is our core business, and export, where we export more than 2 million bottles per year in the more than 25 countries. Here I would like to say some economic features that trading in Georgia and from Georgia export is zero taxable. We have free trade agreements with more than 94 countries, which makes Georgian economic conditions flexible and easy and let's say accessible to the world, because as you all know, Georgia is a very small market. And in this case, we are going to be more globalized and more and to create and gain more awareness. So in this case, as we are, now I will move to presentation. And in this case, as we are in the main touristic region, and this is the Kakheti region. Let me just share my screen. Okay. I think I have some troubles. Maybe you can. Wait. Where is my? Maybe you will open, Kate, my presentation. Can you?
Just a minute, we will help you.
Okay. Okay, we have decided to enter real estate market because wine business is very interesting. Hospitality is fine because we host every year, Georgia as a country, more than 8 million tourists. So, and it's promising market and it goes everywhere. Of course, I'm not talking about COVID times when we will get into the new normal. And in this case, it's very, very important to share what we have done during this period. And then we have decided to enter real estate, a luxury real estate market, and to build a wine village. Can you, next slide, please? And to be in a luxury real estate and to build villas. These villas are very interesting. Next, please. This is our philosophy that we want to have more investors in this country, and we do believe that our investors will be very happy to have own vineyards, own wines, and to promote the country's Georgia also on the international level. So that's why, next please. Okay, in this case, we have built a really very interesting idea. We hope so, because as I already mentioned, Georgia is really famous with all the stories. And here we would like to have all the people to come to Georgia, to come to our country and experience the real spirit and soul of our project. Next, please. Okay, here and you can just in every 30 seconds, Kate, just move my presentation, please, in order to not to be very fast. In this case, we have created a concept, not only, of course, development, but also infrastructure, in the touristic infrastructure. In this case, we represent as developers and also service providers, local service providers. We have established in frame of our brand, gastronomic approach, gastronomic concept based on Georgian food. As you know, Georgia gastronomy is also very famous, and our concept is to have wine and dine together. Wine wellness, of course, because as we are resorts, we should have, of course, spa, and in order to be more attractive, we have decided, this was like 5 years ago, to enter in a wellness sector, where we have created our wine cosmetic line and some special scrubbing or some longevity procedures. And our aim is to to get the people the chance to experience wine on their, let's say, on their body. Okay, Kate, please next. So we have a villa and a wine spa. As I mentioned, we have a hotel. We have all the touristic attractions, and also, next please. Okay, you can just move. This is a wine village where you can see the village consists of with 25 villas. First phase of the project we have already realized, and which is very interesting here. And I would like to outline the new approach in, let's say, real estate standards and development. This is that we built with the authentic Georgian materials from 18th century. This is Georgian brick and special materials and Georgian wood. And this makes our, let's say, villas very interesting and attractive, because here we are in a village and in a very green and, let's say, resilient area where 70% is occupied by vineyards, as a vineyard is a main, let's say, flag of Georgian agriculture sector. But here I would like to also, let's kind of present our very early phase project. And here I would like to, let's say, address to the audience and public that yes, we are in turbulent times. Yes, we have decreased not only in Georgian real estate market, but also worldwide. But this is, yes, risk. And here we believe that this risk will be absolutely, let's say, will be decreased by beginning of 2021, as we have seen some positive signs from even big markets as US with the official, let's say, announcement with the vaccine. Some shares, some share capitals the values are increased. So in this case, here we stay optimistic and we don't stop with our project and go in the West Georgia. So this is our next project. I will not list some rankings and facts about Georgia, of course, because Mr. Irakli has fantastic, absolutely updated data, why the people should invest in Georgia. And I will just list a few informations. Because of emerging market and all the investors are looking in small and beautiful countries with the rich and full of stories. and with the top reformers and top ranks in the region. Of course, as we are emerging markets, we want to achieve more. And as President of FEAPSI Georgia has already discussed, we have a global and big ideas, and we will go giantly very forward, and which assist us the environment and our country as a top region in Georgia. Our next project will be, let's say, in West Georgia, not in Batumi city, because in this case, Batumi is great for more big developments, as our colleagues and friends are doing in a fantastic way. In this case, as Schuchman Group's idea is based on green city, and in a green project and in the resilient project, we have decided very small and, let's say, undeveloped village, as we also have our project in village. Our concept and approach is village style developments. This is Buknare. Buknare is, let's say, like 5 or 6 kilometers away from Batumi. This is a 150 meter distance from the sea. And in Buknare, we have one of the cleanest seashore and sea, because there is no port, there is no big, let's say, population living there, less hotels and less, again, touristic infrastructures. And our aim is to enter undeveloped areas of Georgia and develop the concept like spa and wellness. In our new project, we will have more wellness and longevity approach, because as we all know, again, after pandemic, when we will realize it, and then I hope very soon, the people will need absolutely rehabilitation, and they should have in some recreation resorts, and to let's say use all the possibilities what this region offers. And of course, with our all touristic infrastructure, some of course we will repeat our gastronomic approach, we will repeat some small winery approach, because in Georgia people are coming to taste wine, to taste Georgian food, and to experience with our local of course culture. But in the international level, to use all modern standards, which offers kind of resorts globally. So these are more longevity resorts, and our next project will be in more wellness direction. And some, okay, next slide, please. This will be our project. So in the first photo, you can see how in the green areas we are located. We have approximately 10,000 square meters, from which 3,000 will be only, let's say, real estate. Of course, very limited with the levels of height, because here we are not allowed to build multi-functional developments, and what I absolutely accept, because here we should be with a mix of fantastic fresh air from mountains and the sea breeze. So in this case, it's better to construct small size hotels, and I will be very happy to see other, let's say, even investors or local investors to develop not only big cities, which is also very important, to have immediate, let's say, profit or immediate results, but also to be in a let's say village, in the villages, because villages are authentic. In the village we have great population who need support, who need to get involved, and this is our main maybe for some developers it's a little bit risky, but in this case we would like to be first, because we are pioneers in our project, I can just very proudly say that there is no competitors in wine and development, let's say wine and real estate, and in this case, less projects in villages. So, and in this case, I would like to have more and more competitors because this is very good and healthy. Of course, the advantages, I will list some main advantages of our company, that we have German-Georgian joint company, which means that we are absolutely Western-minded. So we have absolutely German way and German approach in business, in management. We have marketing awareness already from our brand, because 95%, as I mentioned, of our wines go export. We export it, and our company has absolutely quite, let's say, acceptable asset. This is our 9 wine resort in Gesiskevi, in the village of Telavi region, and 120 hectares of vineyards, and all the listed infrastructure, touristic infrastructure, which is interesting, not only from the touristic and guest side, but also for investors, because we all, as local or foreign investors, are looking not only in, let's say, bricks, but also to have investment and to have a sufficient touristic infrastructure in order to get high value. So this is my project, and after all will resume and in the globe, and I hope very soon, I will see you in Kakheti, in my beautiful region, and to taste Georgian wine together. Cheers.
Thank you, Nutsa, for this brilliant presentation. I always love the approach that Nutsa has to the real estate market, because it's really nice to see the historical villas we're built with the historical materials, with the historical concept. And I love also the fact that she's trying to develop not the big cities, but develop the areas of the country which definitely needs it. And this way, she's developing actually the areas of the places and the places which are near to the big cities, but also really needs this development, because Georgia has a big potential to show his history and his culture to the international investors as well as the international tourists. And Nutsa is the one to see this potential, and she's trying to develop with every following project a really marvelous concepts. Now we're moving forward with the top the greenest part of the city, which is the Lisi development. Ms. Tina Quintradze will now present the project, which is considered to be the greenest part of the city. They are also developing the resort near Bakuriani, which is the ski resort. It's called Kofta Development, and Tina will present it in more detail. So please, Tina.
Oh, sorry. Do you hear me now?
We hear you, Tico.
Great.
Yes.
Good day, dear participants. Once again, thank you for this opportunity, Lika. And all the presentations that we heard so far are very interesting, and I'm looking forward for the following ones also. So today I will tell you, I will give you information about our project, our ongoing project, which is under umbrella of Lisi Holding. This is Lisi Green Town in the center of Tbilisi, capital of Georgia, and another project is in Bakuriani, which is a ski resort. But we develop it, we have developed it as a 4-season resort. And the third one is our Black Sea resort, which is by the Black Sea in, it is called Buknari Resort. So let me share the screen with you and I will go through my slides. So is it visible? Do you see the presentation slide on the screen?
Yes, yes, Tina, please.
Yes, Tina, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So let's start from our first project that we launched about 10 years ago. This is a town, we call it Lisi Greentown, which is located on the we can say on the mountain in the center of Tbilisi, next to the biggest recreational zone in our capital, Lisi Lake. So the property, the land plot that company owns is 355 hectares, which is a huge luxury for the city center because like today, there is only one company that can afford this scale in the center of Tbilisi. So this gave us opportunity to develop Lisi Greentown under our main concept, which is 80-20, which means that 80% of the development is dedicated to the greenery, green zones, and only 20% is dedicated to the building areas. The complex consists of different kinds of products in the menu, starting from residential apartments, townhouses, and also we have added about 2 years ago in our product list, we have added villas, villa district, about which I will give you more detailed information later. So during these 10 years, we have achieved important goals. For example, more than $1 million of investment in the company. We have approximately 100 employees already employed in our company. Unique concept, which is really unique because in Georgia, this is the only company who follows this concept 80-20. We have very strong international partners, not only architectural companies that I will mention later, but also banks. Last year, we issued $12 million worth bonds on Georgian market. Company has international credit rating B+. And of course, we have more than 30 local and international awards. We have our representative office, official representative office in Ukraine, in the capital of Ukraine, Kiev. And also I have to mention that last year, Lisi Holding was named as the 6th company among top 10 profitable companies in Georgia. So also very important moment, according to our concept, this company, this holding is distinguished by its green principles. For example, electronic charges are installed on our territory. Also very important is that our gardeners do not use tap water. We have special utensils to use rainwater for irrigation of our 80% greenery. Also, one very important moment that I would love to mention is that Lisi Development was the first company in Georgia to have launched waste storing. So I think that this is one of very, very important role models and I hope that other companies will also follow this path because this is really very important for our ecology. Also, one very important moment is that as I mentioned, on our green zones, we have approximately more than 40 more than 40 gardeners who take care of our green zones, and we have planted more than 40,000 trees on in our green town. And after pandemic, after this COVID situation, this has given very, very serious results. For example, as you know, a World Health Organization has its special recommendations regarding spaces and distances. So at LISI development, there are 70 square meters of greenery, which is defined per capita in our green town. And this is more than minimum standard, which is set by World Health Organization and which is 7.7, and more than the ideal standard, which is 1.4. So it is much more. So per capita, there is much more space and much more greenery than it is required by World Health Organization. So, and by the way, if we discuss the results, financial results of this year, 2020, I have to mention that this is one of the most important moments that helped us with sales, because after February of this year, the sales have really reached very good cap, because people realized that these spaces that we have here and these green zones that we have here in front of every building is the park, is one of the main sources of staying healthy and going through this COVID period easily. So this is the master plan of our green town. You can see that here two zones are already finished. Here is the part where we are going to develop Villa district, and we are very proud that one of the most important very important landmarks of Georgian architecture will be located on our territory. And this is the head office building of TBC Bank, which was created by the world well-known, very well-known architectural company UN Studio, which is our partner for many, many years. So I want to mention I want to say a couple of words about our recreational zone. Again, this is one of the most important luxuries for our green town. The fact that right on our territory is one of the biggest recreational zones of Tbilisi, Lisi Lake, is very important not only for our residents, but generally for the city. And our company is in the management of this recreational zone. And during last 10 years, it has developed different ways of leisure activities around the territory, starting from boating activities, other leisure places, beach, fishing activities, etc., etc. Also on our territory is a very important part of our infrastructure are two well-known schools. This is one of them is Givi Zaldastanishvili American Academy, which is in one of the top schools of Georgia, and another one is British Georgian Academy. And these factors, including having schools on our territory, having #1 recreational zone on our territory, makes this project one of the most comfortable to live in. Not only for Georgians, but also for foreigners, because I have to underline this fact that we have lots of foreign investors who have purchased apartments or houses or villas on our territory. And some of them just keep it as an investment. Some of them rent them out because of these schools and recreational zones and the lifestyle that we offer to our customers. Most of foreigners rent houses and apartments on our territory because there are international schools nearby. So regarding our development plans, as I already mentioned, we have developed, we started developing this 355 hectares 10 years ago. We have finished developing of this territory, first phase about 6 years ago. Now we have finished second phase of our territory, and we have already started developing third phase. For today, more than 500 families live on our territory, and also we have added villa district that I mentioned. So we have divided villa district in two phases. First phase included 75 land plots, and all of them are already sold out. Here again, concept is very important. So villa district, which is located in Lisi Greentown, is a separated part of the town, which is absolutely which can be said that it's very tranquil, very isolated. It has separate security services. Despite people will have their own gardens, still we will have several mutual gardens on that territory. And also, in order to maintain our main concept 80-20, we decided to limit the minimum land plot sizes, and the smallest land plot that one can have at Lisi Greentown is 1,200 square meters. So every land plot is over 1,200 square meters, and there are limitations also in coefficients of building areas, because we want to maintain this important concept 80-20. So the views are really ideal from the villa land plots, and this part of our project will be very different by its architectural side, because many local and international architects work on the projects, on this individual project. So it looks really beautiful when you see the results and when you see the diversity of these buildings. But of course, there are some standards that everybody has to follow in order to maintain, again, our main values. Also, I would like to mention a couple of our very important partners. For example, in the third phase, that we have launched about 6 months ago, we have invited world-famous Spanish architect company, which is owned by well-known Spanish architect Ricardo Bofill. So Ricardo Bofill will create one of the biggest buildings on our territory, which will be very special and very different from other buildings that we have on our territory, and it will just make this diversity even richer. So maybe you have heard about one of our landmark buildings in our Lisi Greentown, which is called Lisi Tower. Lisi Green Tower was created by UN Studio. UN Studio is also one of the leading architect companies. For example, they have, you may know what one of their creations is Mercedes-Benz Museum in Stuttgart in Germany. So the same company has created one of our buildings in the center of the Lisi Greentown. So this building is a mixture of Georgian culture and Georgian historical architecture with some European moments. Architecture-wise, it is a little bit different from all the other buildings that we have in our first and second phases, because here we use more glass. It is more oriented on views. It has 360 degrees of view all around the city. So here is the Mercedes-Benz Museum in Germany, which was created by the same company that works with us. So here, also on the territory, so far we have only one pool and one gym, but in the second phase, we are adding one more professional pool, 25-meter pool, which will be closed one. And again, about the energy efficiency on the territory, we do not let any public transport. There are only electronic cars and electronic buses on the territory who serve our neighborhood for free. Now let me tell you a little bit about our second project, which is in the mountain resort. This place is called Bakuriani. Bakuriani has been well-known, very famous ski resort since Soviet Union period. It is situated 1,700 meters above the sea level. Place is really unique with its nature, but we market this product and this resort as a 4-season resort because every season this place offers something unique and very healthy on every season. So, what is special about this project? So first of all, location, of course, because we are not located in a very center of Bakuriani. We have chosen place which is more into the forest. Also very important is that because of the location, we have ski in, ski out concept, which is really unique for this resort. We have ski slopes and ski tracks right into our yard, right on the territory. Also, our main concept we have in Tbilisi 80-20 is the same in Bakuriani also, and especially Bakuriani nature and our location gives ideal opportunity to develop this concept. Also, we have really international standard of construction. What I mean here is that the style, the architecture, Bakuriani, I mean, our architecture is integrated with the nature of Bakuriani. Also, the materials are very, very important here because in winter it may be -27 degrees and in summer it's around 25-30 degrees. So because of these climatic conditions, the building materials have to be really very very high quality. Most of them are of course imported from Europe, from Germany and from Switzerland. Also important is that here in this in our mountain resort we offer like one-stop shop services on the territory. Our neighborhood does not have to go out of our territory because on our land plot, we have hotel, we have restaurant, already existing restaurant, and also we are building plaza in the center of the territory, and I will show it to you right now. Here is the master plan, where you can see that this central part of the territory will be plaza, which will be occupied by restaurants, different kinds of restaurants, even bank, branch, supermarkets, etc. So everything that is needed for the comfort of our neighborhood will be provided in this central plaza part. Also, it is important to mention that approximately 2 years ago, our partners became one of the most successful hotel brands in Georgia, which is called Achara Group. They have 2 hotels right now in Georgia, very successful projects. One of them is Hotel Rooms, and another one is Stamba. So Rooms became our partners and they occupy half of our buildings in our resort, and they have opened 100-room hotel on our territory. and they also have established their restaurant. So, which is one of the favorite destinations for not only for our neighbors, but also for other tourists who come to Bakuriani. So here we offer turnkey apartments in a turnkey condition. Approximately 80% of apartments are sold out, but we are developing now the third phase where we will have some more options to offer to our customers. So, and by the way, here we also have very important partners. These are French companies, Géaudet and Compagnie des Alpes. These two companies have 25 years of experience of developing this kind of ski resorts in France. Compagnie des Alpes has developed many interesting projects in French Alps, and they helped us to develop our architectural projects and the master plan of our Bakuriani resort. And our third project is by the Black Sea. I will not give you much information today about this project because well-known American architectural company WATG is working on our architectural project. By the way, one of the well-known projects of WATG is East Hotel, a complex in Las Vegas, Venetian, which is a unique, really unique project, huge project. So the same company will work on our Black Sea project. And I hope that very soon I will be able to give you more details about this new project. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Tina, for this marvelous presentation. We've seen everything. We've seen the green city, green town within a capital city. We've seen the ski resort in the mountains. We haven't seen the sea resort, but I'm definitely sure that it's going to be amazing because I tend to be in Venetian last year, and it was marvelous, to be honest, because it was the city inside the building, and it was amazing. Like the like boats were going inside the building and all those stuff. I mean, that was amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing this project very soon. So thanks again. Thank you for your presentation. And now our event, I will wrap up with my personal presentation. Let me share the screen now. Okay. Here we have. I represent the company Alliance Group, which is being on this market since 2005. Well, our company Alliance Group has been operating on the Georgian real estate market since 2005. It's been on this market, as you can see, for 15 years already. We've developed around more than 20 projects on the Georgian market, and the ongoing projects as well as the completed projects. Total investment value is around 845 million in more than 2 million square meter of real estate, which talks about our experience that has been building for 15 years. But what's the most important thing is the innovative approach to the development market that we've created and started in Batumi. Our company started to build the first apart hotels in Georgia. It was the first company in 2005 to build up the apartments for the international investors, and it was actually the first company to to expand on the international level and open several branches abroad, thus attracting a lot of investment from first of all post-Soviet Union countries as well as Gulf and Europe. But what's the most important thing is that it was the first company as well in 2015 which incorporated the international hotel brand, which was Marriott at that time, in our multifunctional complexes, thus creating the very special investment opportunities for the international investors. What's more, our main goal is to create the iconic architecture and design. And once I go through my presentation, you will see the architecture and the exteriors of our apart hotels and the multifunctional projects with the different concepts. Because with every following project, we're trying to create something new and to offer something attractive to the local as well as the international markets. Mr. Irakli, in the caller's presentation, has provided some information about the investment attractiveness, but I wanted to outline some key factors as well, because one of them is the flexible tax system, which is loved by international investors. Also, the registration procedures, which is taking only a few hours and or maybe the one day, or you can register the company, you can register the real estate very easily and fast. And also the high demand on the Georgian real estate market, that's why the prices are increasing on a yearly basis. And the tourism boom that we have before COVID, it's still, it was quite high on the yearly increase of the tourism flow was really high. So the demand on the real estate to rent is still increasing, has been increasing so far. And this is all giving us the opportunity to provide the high return on investment. So it's been considered as a heaven for investors for many years. Let me move on to the Alliance Group portfolio. We have one completed, which is Alliance Palace, first one that you can see on the slide, and the 3 ongoing projects at the moment. Let me start with the Alliance Palace, and once you look at the buildings, you can see the iconic design that our company's mission is to develop. First project that I'm going to present is Alliance Palace. This is our completed project, 41-story building in front of the sea. And the good thing about this is the location, also because we are basically developing the seaside resorts. We have one project at the moment in Tbilisi, but this project is right in front of the sea, and this is the live picture taken around 3-4 months ago, and you can see this is the world-renowned Batumi Boulevard, which is the seafront promenade and most attractive part of the city, because a lot of tourists are going there. Also enjoying the fountains, the dancing fountains. So at nights you can just sit in your terrace and look at the amazing sunset together with the dancing fountains, and also enjoy it with the views of the mountains on the other side of the fountains and the sea. Our company's main approach is to create the complexes with all kind of infrastructure inside, which is all the amenities like the concierge, the reception, the restaurants, the night pubs, clubs, as well as the different kind of international cuisine, as well as Georgian restaurants. And what's the really nice thing about these complexes is a casino, because apart from the apart from the season, which is the summer season, there are a lot of gambling tourists who are going to Batumi to enjoy the gambling. So gamblers are coming to Georgia throughout the year, which makes the Batumi city the four-season resort. These are some interior pictures of already completed Alliance Group project, which is the Alliance Palace, where you can actually enjoy the views of the sea and enjoy the breakfast from the sea. And this is also the live picture taken from our terrace. And also the brands who are always coming together with Alliance Group projects. At this case, it was Courtyard by Marriott project hotel, which we are going to launch in May 2021. Another project which is located in Tbilisi, this is Alliance Highline. This is 3-tower building with 40, 33, and 26 floor, and two main towers are the investment apartments. There was around 700 apartments which have been mostly sold out, and we're only left with around 5% of apartments, but still these places really worth investing because it's located on the two arterial roads of Tamarashvili and the Chapchavadze, which is really easy to reach from every part of the capital city. Mrs. Tina had mentioned several times about the recreational area of its project, but however, we don't have that much to show in the city center. But wherever we can, basically, this is the ground level garden that we have on the ground level in front of the reception, and we also have the rooftop terrace on the podium level of the building. So we are trying to create some recreational parts, some recreational areas within our complexes. That's underlining that we are also green and trying to keep the greenery within the city centers where you don't have that much area to develop. So these are the places that we are concentrating more to develop some greenery parts on the rooftop terraces or surrounding area of our complex. So this is the project of Alliance Group in Tbilisi. Which brings me to another project of our company, Alliance Privilege. Alliance Privilege is also located on the seafront promenade. And this location is even better because it's really closer to the old city part. And you have the amazing dolphinarium as well as the sea in front of the building, so you can enjoy the views of dolphins just jumping in, enjoying themselves, as well as once leaving the complex, you can just reach every attraction that you have in the city, including the beach, the private beach of the complex, which is now going to be for our apartment owners as well as the guests, and which will have some clubs and pub as well as all the amenities that you might need for the sea. And talking about the location, this lake is located in the central park of Batumi. On the left-hand side, you can see also the zoo and a lot of attractions in front of the sea as well. This project has around 12 floors of hotel Marriott, and starting from the 13th floor up to 54th floor, we have apartments, investment apartments that are for sale. And on the right-hand side, you can see a 7th floor building, which is connected to the main building
This is basically for the infrastructure. So you have the spa, the fitness, the swimming pools, and different kind of restaurants, as well as leisure places which you can enjoy throughout the day. And basically we have here a casino as well, because as we mentioned, Batumi is it is called the Las Vegas of the Black Sea, because a casino is introduced in every complex that we are building. This also underlines the location, the prime location of the city, because it's right inside this seafront promenade, right inside the beach, you can call it this way. This brings me to the our last project we've developed, that we're developing just now. We started the construction around 6 months ago, and talking about the design and our architecture, which I've mentioned at the beginning, those 4 projects are already considered as the landmarks of the cities, of different cities. One of them was in Tbilisi, this one is in Batumi, and this is this project name is Alliance Centropolis. And you might have some question, why Centropolis? But I can answer to that because this is so big development. This is around 410,000 square meter right in front of the sea. And it's like including all the amenities and facilities and all kind of infrastructure that the city might have. So Polis is the Greek name of the city, and why center? We have here different kind of components. One of them is a business center. Another one is the shopping center. Also, we have here the World Trade Center exhibition hall, as well as the hotel, which I cannot announce now, but it has the center name inside the within its name. So it creates the city of the centers, of the different centers. That's why Alliance Centropolis. Here we have also 10,000 square meter of recreational area, because it's surrounded with the seafront promenade, as I said, and there's a transition from the city to the boulevard. So we also have here a lot of entertainments, a lot of infrastructure, including the swimming pools, the spa, the fitness, the shopping mall, which we're building in Batumi, because there's a lack of the business and the shopping facilities in Batumi. So this project addresses to all the issues that the Batumi city has. Those are some. You can see on the right-hand side the Alliance Palace that I've presented at the beginning of the presentation, and on the left-hand side you see the Alliance Privilege. Those 2 projects, with including the third project, kind of ties up these 3 marvelous projects in the city. You can also enjoy the very nice and amazing views from the balconies and terraces, and every single apartment has a terrace with the marvelous views of the city and beautiful sunset that Batumi has as well. This one, as I've mentioned, is this project incorporates the first World Trade Center in the region, and which will have the facilities of the exhibition spaces. And when I talked about the four-season approach, I mentioned that there comes a lot of tourists during the summertime, so we have facilities for that. There's off-season starting from October till March. Gamblers are coming quite frequently from different parts of the world, basically from Turkey, from Israel, from Russia. So we have the biggest facilities, the biggest casino in Batumi, located in Alliance Centropolis. And one of the most important things is the World Trade Center exhibition space,
which is actually concentrated on attracting different kind of exhibitions and conferences and meetings and incentives. So business-oriented, MICE tourism-oriented complex that we have, World Trade Center Batumi. This brings me to the end of my presentation. I would like to say thank you to everyone for joining, for watching our presentations. Thanks to key speakers, to Tina, to Nutsa, and to Irakli. I'm just wrapping up our presentations and giving my speech to Ms. Kate and Lika.
Thank you, Timo, for your brilliant presentation. I'd like to thank all the speakers who delivered very interesting presentations about their projects and what's most important about Georgia that we just watched from Mr. Irakli Kilauriadze, Managing Director of Colliers International Georgia. First, what I would say and hope is that flights get resumed soon. We have this vaccine sometime soon. As Georgia is a country of hospitality, and we could say that it's a fourth season country. We have lots of resorts here, as we saw from our presentations today, sea resorts, mountain resorts, and we have a free economy. It's easy to start a business here. Despite a small country, it has, as I mentioned in the beginning, lots of opportunities. We see that it could be the top emerging country for international investors. I wish resilience to our real estate sector, which is #1 priority now. And I'd like to wish you all success with all your projects. As we heard from Nutsa, she's even starting a new project during this pandemic. So good luck. If we keep such optimism, I guess that pretty soon we can be even more successful. As Irakli mentioned, Batumi surprised Georgia last year. And I believe we will have more success for Batumi and other resorts sometime soon. What's also a good sign, residential market has maintained resilience. So let's keep resilient and hope we'll get back to new normal and adapt to new normal also. So I'll now pass the floor to Lika, and then if we have any questions, and also Mr. Rusmin, of course.
Okay, thank you so much for amazing summary, very comprehensive summary. I'm honestly very grateful to Rusmin, who has supported us, to FIABC Asia, who has supported us to organize this today's webinar. We really had an impressive lineup of speakers. I would like to thank Temur Bidzadze for amazing presentation, Tina Glintaradze for very outstanding portfolio presentation, Nutsa Abramishvili, really authentic projects, and also Irakli giving us a very big picture and helicopter view about the real estate markets of Georgia. So what is most important, we had marvelous project presentations, but at the same time, they all are future-proof projects. I hope that today's webinar was interesting for you participants, and you get even more interested with Georgia as a top emerging real estate destination and consider to come to our country and experience Georgia and think about long-term investment. I would like to underline again that I'm extremely optimistic that science will win. We will have vaccines soon, and world economy will be more open, and we will focus on more investments that are sustainable, resilient, and focus on future-proof projects. I wish all of you success in your business. You are property heroes, those who initiated new projects in these challenging times. This is really courageous from your side. Thank you again for interesting presentations, for participation. We hope that we will meet soon. We will organize upcoming webinars with interesting topics and keynote speakers. So now we have Q&A session. If you have questions, you can ask or write in Messenger. So we will more than welcome your questions. So one question, so one information also we have sent, so via Messenger chat, is that Colliers Georgia has launched a new web page, RecovG, which highlights and covers all the recent surveys and studies, market studies. You can read or download the latest information from RecovG. Also, we got one question from about LISI development project. So I guess Tina has answered, right, Tina? So it was about architecture, it was about the climate. So regarding other...
I have already answered the question.
You have already answered.
Yes, yes.
Okay, any questions or any feedback about today's presentation? Okay, it means that all presentations were quite informative. So all participants are welcome to give their feedback on mails to contact the speakers or contact us, and we will provide with additional details with all materials, presentation materials. Just a second, I need to check one. So do we have any question here? No. So okay, then we are closing our webinar. Thank you again to all participants and presentators. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much again.
Sorry, we have a question from Rasmin. Any minimum purchase for foreigners?
No.
It's a threshold, yeah, minimum threshold. Like in Malaysia, you have to buy above, a foreigner have to buy above 1 million, above 1 million ringgit above. In Singapore, you are foreigners and are only allowed to buy a property that's above 1 million Singapore, something like that. Do you have any minimum threshold for foreigners?
No, we do not have any limitations for foreigners, for non-residents. Absolutely, no legal, no financial. Absolutely no.
Yeah, we are Lika. We have Mr. Budiarsa here. Okay.
Great. Maybe he'll make closing remarks or say a couple of words.
Lika, can I add one very important moment that might be very beneficial for non-residents? By the way, Mr. Rusmin, Georgia is well known for its ease of bureaucratic operations. Because, for example, if we compare Georgia to England or the United States or any other European country, you will be amazed how easy it is to purchase real estate and then register it under your name. It takes about, it's a well-known fact in every presentation of, every financial or economic presentations of the country. Every presenter uses this information and spreads this information for foreigners that legal part of any operation in Georgia is very, very easy and very flexible. It works really in minutes. If the buyer, the person is physically in Georgia, they can buy and register real estate in about 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
In the public hall, where the procedure is as easy as possible.
Yeah, thank you.
And the price is also very low. You don't need special legal representatives or lawyers in order to choose and purchase real estate in Georgia.
Yeah, surprisingly, Georgia ranked number 7 of easy doing business in the world, surprisingly. Lika, we have Mr. Budiarsa Sasawinata here. He is the managing director of Ciputra Group. Ciputra Group is one of the Asian's top developers. They have projects in overseas, like in China, Vietnam, and Cambodia. I would like to ask Mr. Budiarsa, are you with me, Mr. Budiarsa?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just posed a question.
Yeah. Mr. Budiarsa have 2 questions. One about the special permit. If I'm foreigners, I want to buy property in Georgia, do we need a special permit to apply first, then we can buy first? The other one, I have questions for Mr. Budiarsa. Mr. Budiarsa, you have presence in a few foreign countries like China, Vietnam, and Cambodia, and doing a lot of township, about 300 hectares project in these 3 countries. As a foreign top developers, what kind of criteria that you have in mind before you enter one foreign market?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. That actually the answer, I just noticed that I got all in Georgia. First is the political stability that you already mentioned earlier on the presentation, and the economic growth. I think that's the basic consideration why we go abroad. Besides, of course, we want to diversify our business risks, because different countries have different economic cycle.
Yes.
And also we want to enlarge our potential market and expand our management internationally. And also we want to be a multinational company. That's our consideration. And looking at the, listening to the presentation earlier, it was really interesting. All the project is really a masterpiece that you showed us. It's very, very interesting. I'm very glad I in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have allocated your time and exposed your interest to participate, Mr. Budiarsa. It's a pleasure for us. Regarding your question, I will ask Temur Bitsade to give response. So we have some regulation about the giving permits, residency permits, while you buy a real estate in Georgia, and I'm sure Temur will give more details.
Definitely, Lika. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer to the question. Yes, Georgia provides the special residence permit once you acquire the real estate. It used to be lower, but at the moment it's around $100,000, and once you invest $100,000 and purchase the ownership in the real estate, you are given the permanent residence permit. You and your family can apply for the residence permit. Not only you, but your family can also get this opportunity to get the residence permit of Georgia. So yeah, but then after around 5 years, you can even apply for the citizenship. But it has some additional terms, some additional requirements if you would like to get the citizenship. But the residence permit is something that you really can get.
Okay. Any requirement on the age limit?
Not really, not really. No, it's 18 plus. If you are I mean, older than 18 years, you can apply for the residence permit. And also, your family members needs to be under 18 if they want, or your wife and your children. You can apply for the residence permit once you invest $100,000.
Oh, okay. So even though, say, because I'm already over 60, so there's no age limit.
No, you're welcome
Okay.
to come to Georgia and invest and get the residence permit.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
Tina have some commentaries about this question, or would like to add some words?
I have also one question to this particular, let's say, inquiry. As a vice chairman of FIABC Georgia, I would like to outline some facts regarding investment in Georgia. So, as you know, as I already mentioned, we are top reformers in the region. It means that, of course, according some international, let's say, World Bank's rankings or other rankings, we are top, let's say, rankings. Here is also very important the, let's say, country's readiness and openness for foreign direct investment. Okay, as you can buy apartment, for instance, and get residence permit, you have also another options. Second option is some tax residency, which is also very important for foreign investors in order to make some taxes effective and efficient, and by end of the day, and also to cooperate with the local developers in order to make some interesting investment. So in this case, our platform, FIABC Georgia and Property Georgia, is here for you in order to identify some projects, identify the risks and needs what you will have from Georgia. And also, in our experience, I can say that as our company was also once, let's say 10 years ago, foreign direct investment from Germany, Mr. Schuchmann had, our owner from Germany, had many incentives, and government of Georgia is continuing to giving some exceptions, some incentives to international investors on the individual basis. So in this case, I would like to officially declare from FIABC chapter Georgia that here our country is open and waits for investors, and especially from Asia. That's why for us, the Asian region is very important, because for diversifying your businesses, even in your case, we are absolutely open. And here I would like to offer our, let's say, staff and personalities to be the advocacy of your businesses in Georgia.
Oh, thank you. It's very, very interesting.
For
I hope we can travel soon.
Hopefully, we all can travel soon from 2021.
Yes,
Revised, and we will welcome you to Georgia. Thank you so much for your participation. If you have any additional questions, we're open to answer, or we can continue our cooperation further.
Thank you, Mr. Budiasra. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, my camera is off. Some technical issues.
Okay.
Yeah. Kate and Lika, how about the tax? Corporate tax. The rate of the corporate tax, yeah.
Okay, maybe regarding taxation, we will ask Colliers International Georgia, Irakli, if he's with us. Oh, Okay.
I don't think Irakli is here anymore, so I'll try to answer to that question. Basically, there are different kind of taxation. So if you are talking about the real estate tax or the ownership tax, we don't have but the property tax at all, actually, until your profits or your earnings from these from your property does not exceed 40,000 Georgian currency lari. You don't have to pay any additional tax for your property. And in addition, if you exceed actually this 40,000 lari, you only have to pay around less than 1% on your property ownership that you have. What about regarding the corporate tax? There's another tax as well. Once the investors acquire a real estate property in Georgia and that they rent it out, there's a very low amount, low tax rate. It's around 5% from your income tax that you need to pay to the government. The rest is in other countries, in some countries, this is 20%, 30% from the income. But here in Georgia, you only have very low amount of tax, which is only 5%. Does that answers to the questions that you mentioned, or what kind of corporate tax you mean? If you could answer to that, I might be more precise.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. It's quite low. Yeah, you're right. Mostly countries apply but 20% for the corporate income tax. Thank you.
There's also some taxes in different countries of when you go to the public service hall and you want to apply for your property, there's additional taxes, but you don't have to pay anything here once you sign the ownership contract. There's only like $40 that you have to pay. There's no any additional taxes for that. So this is also quite amazing, because once you set up a business, you can set it up in one day, and once you set up the business, if you don't exceed some amount, you are free from paying any VAT even. So when you set up a business in Georgia and you don't have the higher earnings than 100,000 lari, you don't even pay the VAT here. So it's encouraging, the Georgian government is encouraging a lot of startups, a lot of businesses to set up their own businesses in Georgia, and to develop the different kind of sectors. Especially it's the agriculture, which is actually insured by the government. So anything you just provide during agriculture, it is insured by the government. So there are a lot of different segments and a lot of different sectors in Georgia, which is subsidized by the government, as well as the startups and the agriculture, which are the main sectors that are supported by the government.
Timo, thank you so much. I will add that in COVID reality, government has introduced mortgage loan subsidizing project. So all residential transactions which were financed by the mortgage loans were financed from the government. So interest rate was financed partially. It was good motivation and good program to stimulate transactions and help the market to keep the rates. So regarding taxation, as Timo mentioned, we have quite simplified taxation system. In recent years, government has made a lot of reforms in this direction. We have simple taxation system, very small amount of taxes, and everything is very transparent. So thank you, Timo, again for giving.
We should add one more thing regarding, let's say, free industrial zones as well. As you, I mean, or others, some groups will be interested in order to build resorts. I can say easily in our case, there is a free, let's say, touristic zones, what you can gain and get as a status from government, from the tax authority, and not to pay these tax, what we mentioned already, even these low taxes. This is one of the incentives, as I already mentioned, what government is absolutely openly to give on the individual basis. So it means that cost-wise, when you will calculate your cost by entering a new market, as you mentioned that new markets needs new acknowledgement, etc., you have to bear in mind that maybe, very averagely, like 50% of your total amount of budget will be cut out. So this is a great opportunity, and it accumulates a lot of cash in order to reinvest and in order to not to pay any taxes. So that's why this is important point, and here I can easily consult you and show the cases according some scenarios and ratios what Georgian liberal and very liberal tax code offers.
Very interesting to know that.
Because this kind of scenario I cannot see elsewhere, maybe in Singapore.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in
Singapore. Surprising, very interesting.
Really pioneers.
Yeah, very interesting that Georgia is very, very investor friendly.
Also, I would like to underline in 50% kind of minimizing your costs, the labor force, the labor costs. It's quite cheap, okay? So I don't want to go in details, which is the average salary for workers and how we do all the let's say constructions, but it's also very, very efficient. And in order to compare other countries, it really worth, it means that the correlation between costs and incomes, you have high, and in most of the projects cases, we achieve and exceed more than 100% of profit.
Wow.
Yes. Which is highest expectation.
Wow.
This is absolutely, and my colleagues will confirm that this is a minimum profit rate and ROE is 100% for developer side. But there is also the client side, how we attract clients, okay? This is minimum 20% from a return of investment, buying apartments or villas in my case, what I'm selling, and the average return of all investment need 4 to 7 years, which is also below of expectation because an average real estate needs 10 years of waiting, let's say, phase.
Wow, interesting.
So that's why so many successful investors are here represented in Georgia, and this is a part of our FIAPSI chapter, what we have today presented. We have more than 23 projects and developers in frame of our organization, and they're open to discuss.
Oh,
Thank you
great.
so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
About Georgia.
Thank you so much for interesting questions and answers also. So as we see now, what we have to do is just to wait when this pandemic is over and come to Georgia and explore opportunities from site.
Exactly.
And one thing I would like to offer all the audience that to use this phase as an incentive phase, okay, and to prepare with all the information, all the research, because as we all know, to start new project needs time, and now is the time to use, because we have all the possibilities, we have all the team, all the information is here, so we have just start.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the prosperity, and hope to see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Nuta. Thanks, FIAPSI. Thanks to everyone for joining. Have a nice week.
Have a nice week.
Thank you, Rasmi.
Thank you.